Hey Dad, when you're selling yourself to somebody and you want to convince them that you're worth dating, are you going to give them something that looks like this or something that looks like this? We always want something to be packaged nicely. That's why it's really important. If you're going to convince the judge that you're a great dad, you need to be starting with the papers that you file. And the reason why is this. It's the first impression the judge is going to have of you. It's not going to be when you first walk into court. It's going to be when the judge sees the paperwork, because they're going to be reading the paperwork the day, maybe 2 days beforehand. That's when they're going to decide, okay, this person has their act together and this one doesn't. And if you're putting in front of a judge something that looks like this, you're not sending a very good message. You're more along this line. And what you want to be is like this. You want to have your letter to the judge properly packaged with lots of good information in there about why you're a great dad, how you're a great dad, what you know about your child. We teach dads how to do that at Dad's Law School. The important part in Dad's Law School is our Child Custody Action Plan walks you through the process of gathering the evidence, getting the information you need to put in a declaration, where to put it in a declaration, and how to write it so that a judge can look at it and be like, this guy's got his act together. He knows his kids. It's really important because if you're showing up to a judge properly, you're much more likely to be credible, you're much more likely to get what you want, and you're much more likely to show to the judge that the other side is lying about you. Those are all really important things because if you're trying to sell yourself to a judge, and that's what this is, it's sales. Make no bones about it. This is absolutely, at the end of the day, who's the better salesperson? Mom who's over there crying, saying how horrible you are, what a lazy, incompetent, negligent, terrible father you are, or you coming in, big box of chocolates, metaphorically showing the judge that you've got your act together. If you want to learn how we do this, I'm going to show you a little sample of our courses at dadslawschool.com. This is from the Child Custody Action Plan, and it's on how we compile the information for the declaration, because that's what a judge wants to see. They want to know that you're an active and engaged father, and we show you how to do that. So here it is, and I'll be back afterwards. One of the things that we always need to teach a judge is how good is your relationship with your kid? The problem is most dads go into court and say, I'm a great dad, and you are. But that doesn't help the judge at all because every father that's ever walked into court has said, I'm a great dad. They've heard it from everybody. So it has no meaning to them. What helps is when you say, I'm a great dad, and here's why. I know this about my kid, this is what we do, this is how we interact, this is how I discipline, this is what I do when they have a meltdown. That's all part of Dad's declaration. And the kid inventory is what we use to show to the judge how good a relationship you have with your child. Mom's gonna come in and say, you don't know how to discipline, you don't know who their teachers are, you don't know who their doctors are, you don't know who their best friends are, you don't know how to do anything other than to be a Disneyland dad. Great. Let her say all of that stuff, because what I want you to do is in your declaration, you're going to take all the information from Kids Inventory, the documents you have, it's one of our downloads, and you're going to use that to show to the judge in your declaration, this is what I know about my child. So when you're doing a declaration to the judge, which is your first impression with the judge, it's the first thing they're going to see about you really. It's going to say, I'm asking for more custodial time. I want more than just every other weekend and a Wednesday night pizza dinner. And here's why. I have this relationship with my child. Here's where we go to sports. Here's where we go to plays. Here's where we go to museums. Here's where we go to hot dogs and just have fun. Here's where we go to Chuck E. Cheese's and play video games, or John Potter's pizza place. Whatever it is, all of that stuff that shows you're actually having a relationship with your child is important. And we're gonna have that tied with Dad's diary, the calendar that's got receipts from all of that stuff you do, because that's the proof to the judge that you're actually doing things with your child. You have a relationship with them and you know them really well. One of the other sections in Dad's declaration is, here's what I know about my kids' school. Here's what I know about their schooling, their friends. Here's what I know about their medical care. Here's how I discipline them. These are all ways in which we're showing to the judge the full picture of who you are as a parent. Because if a judge just hears, I'm a great dad, you're not saying anything. But if you're saying to the judge, I'm a great dad and here's why, and you give them 2, 3, 4, 10 pages that show all the things you do with your kids, When mom comes in and says he doesn't know the kids really well, who's he gonna believe? We come right back to that credibility issue. What she says versus what you're proving. Proving is what matters. That's what allows a judge to say, okay, I see how this can work. I see that dad's really engaged. He's willing to make sacrifices for his kids. He's willing to change his work hours. He's willing to change his life. Let's talk about giving him more custody. Hey Dad, welcome back. And hopefully you got something out of that little snippet from our course, Child Custody Action Plan at dadslawschool.com. The goal is to convince a judge that you have your act together, and packaging everything is really important. And that's how you convince a judge that you're a really great dad and you should get what you want when you go into court. Learn more about this, go check out dadslawschool.com. And remember, I think you're freaking awesome.